Hi everyone, Darren Hunter here. This is the Win Your Worth podcast show, and I am with a very special guest today, Simone Fogarty, who is a director and the senior property manager based with one agency in Orange, regional town in New South Wales. Now, Simone, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me, Darren.
And I just want to say I'm absolutely blown away. In the last year, your Win Your Worth journey has been a sight to see. And we just want to talk about your journey today, going from old fees and old mindsets to new fees, a lot more profitable fees these days compared to what you're doing. And we're just going to talk about that journey. And so tell us a bit about your market, tell us about your rent roll size, and tell us a little bit about your competitors.
Yeah, sure. So the Orange market, we have a lot of real estate and it's very competitive. There's a lot of different types of operators out there. I think a lot of mainly focused on the sales side, and like with a lot of offices, property management's always seen sort of more of a secondary branch, I guess.
Yep.
And for me, with doing this for 16 years, I can see that this is really the heart of a business. And if you look after your rent roll and landlords and tenants, it often turns into other business, whether that be they look at buying a property or, tenant inherits a property. So it's really about having that overall customer journey for everyone involved.
Yeah. So quick question, what would be the population size in all of Orange or its
I think it's around 48,000 around now.
Okay, so it's a sizable regional, it's not a small regional town. And I know when I was working in real estate, I was working in four-town region of the Riverland of South Australia. That was like 30,000 out of the four towns. In fact, the town that I was based in only had like 5,000. So well done. So that's a sizable town. So how many competitors do you think, how many agents are actually in Orange?
I think from memory, I think there's about 13 or 14 different agencies in Orange.
Okay. And so like in any marketplace, and I think everyone out there, you need to understand that every marketplace has its quality agents charging quality fees. Every marketplace has its agents doing silly things. And no doubt, Simone, yours is no different. Would that be the case?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Okay, well, moving on. So let's talk, we're talking about fees, property management fees. Tell us about your fees. What were your fees before you started this journey? What were your typical fee structure?
So typical fee structure, everyone charges their management fee. That's pretty much across the board. But I found with doing your Win Your Worth training that I did with you earlier this year and the Gold Coast, it was really knuckling down on those extra added services that you do for landlords to help increase the profitability of the business, because there's just so many other different facets. And a lot of people think that, the management fee needs to be for everything, when there's just, especially now with different technologies and all the different legislation that needs to be abided by, really having those extra fees there to help make sure that you're able to provide those services to landlords for, being able to employ good quality staff, have those systems in place that costs more per month to look after. Yep. So having those extra fees, come into play is really definitely, help cement to make sure that we are able to provide that really high quality customer service that we're really focused on.
Yeah. So before we talk about your new fees, let's talk about the old. All right. Let's talk about the old ways. Now you've said you've been in real estate a long time. Okay. So yes. No doubt you've been, how many years have you been running the ship there?
So I merged with one agency about 2 years ago. I moved up from Sydney originally about 7 years ago.
Yep.
And my mindset from being in Sydney, so that was, everyone was sort of 5.5. It's very cutthroat. You think, oh, well, that's just what everyone gets. So when I moved to Orange, I was so surprised to see that the management fee were a lot more than Sydney. Now, of course, that probably has a bit to do with the differences in rents compared to Sydney and regional. But when I first came here, I was offering management fee for 5.5% and couldn't understand why that really wasn't, giving me the foot up because everyone else was charging more. And I guess for a while it was very much of it's a complete mindset. I didn't believe in myself as much as I thought, as I should. That I've, put my landlords first. I've got investment properties myself. So, you're dealing with someone's, if not their biggest asset, their second biggest asset. It's a huge privilege and an honor. And I think, for a while I went through a bit of a bit of a dip, I guess, in my career, where I just thought, oh, what am I doing? Nothing's working. I'm just hitting my head against a brick wall. And then merged with Ash from one agency, and started to get that hunger back and thinking, well, I am worth what I'm worth. And then did the conference with you, and just a complete switch of
So let's just go through let's just talk about your old fees. So now, I guess for everyone, the management fee I don't think has changed, has it for you? So you've written management fee. So your management fee hasn't changed, and that's very important for everyone, particularly when we're doing when you're worth. If your management fee is already at rack rate market normal, well, because owners are really fixated on the management fee, we do the work in the other stuff. Okay, if the owners are really focused on the management fee, then you do the changes in your other fees, because they really don't care about them. They just fly under the radar. And that also works against your rivals as well, because if your add-on fees are a lot better than your rivals, it really doesn't matter as long as your management fees are sort of a rack rate normal. Okay, so I'm assuming now, did your leasing fees change through the journey?
Yes, they did.
So what were your fees before?
So just your standard 1 week's rent, and that's what I'd been charging from when I first started.
Yep. Okay, so let's hang on to that 1 week's rent. Now, what were the other fees that you were charging as well?
The admin fee of $6.60 a month.
Yep.
Income and expenditure fee, $22.
Okay.
Tribunal, $55 per hour.
Yes.
A TICA annual fee of $22.
Yes.
And then they were the very main fees that we had. Yeah.
Okay, so no lease renewal, no routine inspection, nothing like that.
Just the lease fee, $55 for renewal.
Yeah, lease prep, which is very unique to New South Wales. Okay, so all right, moving on. Now, had I actually said to you, let's say I took you out for a cup of coffee then, and I said, hey, you could be getting much better fees around your monthly admin, you should be charging a routine inspection fee, you should be charging other fees, you could be doing a lot better. What do you think you'd said to me back then? Because if you were able to do better fees, you would have been, right? But you weren't. So you were locked in at your current fee structure. What would you have said to someone like me if I said you could have done better?
Oh, but Darren, it wouldn't work in our market if no one else is doing it.
Yeah.
So the focus, as you say, the big butts coming up.
Because you thought the rivals set the pinnacle of what fees should be, and therefore your fees must be worked within them, which is a really bad way to think, because if your rivals all got caught up in a game of race to the bottom, that means you've tethered yourself to the race to the bottom as well, which we cannot allow our fate to be anchored to the silly fees of our rivals, everybody. And again, I'll go back to, it's your management fee that owners really care about the most. The other stuff is more mindset forces, where your management fee is more market forces. Okay, so you come along we did a 2-day event on the Gold Coast, and so glad you came along. We really started pulling apart those mindsets there. So what I call as an epiphany, it's something that you go, wow, a big penny drop. It's where a major false mindset has just been turned on its head, and you suddenly realize that old false mindset isn't true anymore. Well, what was those moments for you? What was those moments of realization and revelation and epiphany for you? What were they?
It was definitely at the conference, and just having the belief in yourself that you are what you are worth, and you only achieve what you think you are worth, not what other people think that you're worth.
Yep.
It's about having that confidence and the conviction as to why you do things a certain way.
Yeah, correct. And you know, as silly as it sounds, all I did for 2 days is teach you to be more confident.
Yep.
That's it. That's all I did. And all of that 12 hours of teaching was just how to have more confidence in yourself. Because everybody, if you believe something so strong and it comes out through your eyes, through your body language, through your voice tone, other people will believe it too. And everyone, here's why. And one thing is, this is not a game about fees. Those owners will come to you and say, but the other agent is cheaper or whatever. Their base motive isn't actually fees. Their base motive is that what they lose sleep over at night is they want a quality, reliable property manager and a quality tenant. That is their base motive. And if they come out with that other stuff, they're just trying to make themselves a sweeter deal. So, of course, if we step up to the plate and we're confident, then we can look someone in the eye and say, look, Mr. Smith, I'm not able to do that fee. And here's why. And it's a very convincing argument with strength, and we have good, solid points of difference. They're going to believe it. And suddenly you've got the deal at quality fees, not at the fees that they wanted, because they had made the decision already. When they say, but the other agent is cheaper, they've already made a decision on you. They're only one step away from signing that management agreement, and they're just trying to make themselves a sweeter deal. If they say they're going to go with a cheaper agent, it's a bluff. They're just using that as a reference point to negotiate with you because they want you. All right, I get off my soapbox now. So when you got back to the office, Simone, and this is the reckoning moment. This is where you've got to put things into place. What were the fees that you decided to change? What fees were added? What fees were increased? What changes occurred?
Was it definitely our letting fee? It increased.
Yep. So what did that go to?
To 1.5.
So 1.5 weeks rent plus GST. Is that correct? So yes. 1.65. And now here is the hoodoo, right? I'm sick and tired of seeing this, but across New South Wales, across Queensland, and across New Zealand is this hoodoo that people think that 1 week's leasing fee is the right fee to charge, which is like, it's like everyone's in collusion, but they're not. So why did you choose that one?
Well, you just have to look at the advertising costs of how much realestate.com and Domain have increased. You know, I know from when I first started, you could probably put a listing up for about $50.
Yep.
They're probably about $350 now per site. So it's...
You're not charging a marketing fee as well?
Yes. Yeah, we are.
Okay, cool. Well done. So, so you've obviously got a quality. What's your marketing fee that you were charging before, and what are you charging now?
So before it was $88, and now it's $299.
Well done. Well done. Now, what is your average rent across your rent roll?
So 3 bedrooms is around $520.
Yep.
4 bedrooms around $650.
Okay. So your annual summary was at $22. All right. What did you increase that to?
88.
Okay. So good jump there. Now, your lease, you did a lease renewal fee?
Yes. Yeah. So now we do half a week's rent.
Half a week's rent from zero?
Yeah.
Yep. Well done. And why do you feel that that's worth $300 or so dollars, being half a week's rent? Why? What's your conviction about that? Why do you think you're worth that fee?
So to do a proper rent review and lease renewal, you've got to do a comparative market update for a landlord and speak to the landlord to let them know where the property is sitting in the current market. From there, you're needing to liaise with the tenant. Sometimes they're not always wanting to sign a new lease, so you've got to explain the benefits why, and to what the benefit is for them to sign a new lease rather than just keeping on the expired lease. Sending out the leases for signing, rent increases, making sure that everything's compliant and going off your previous lease agreements, that the pets match, that our ingoing condition report dates are in there as well. And then any other terms and conditions. So it's not just sort of a click of a button. You really need to check to make sure that everything lines up so that there's no, nothing that slips through the cracks, basically.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Well done. So just as an FYI, everybody, if you haven't already got my book, get the PM Fee Scripts Secrets. The book is free. You just got to pay for shipping. But I go through how to justify your your management fee, your leasing fee, your lease prep fee, if you're doing one, your lease renewal. All the fees we're actually talking about in this podcast is you get the full justification, how to justify it to owners, but more importantly, the scripts that you need. Just go to stopdiscountingfees.com for your copy. Again, all you got to do is pay shipping. That's $9.97 in Australia. Outside, it's just double that outside of Australia. Again, a great investment for a good book. Now, moving on, Simone. So now the routine inspection fee. Now, I know if I go to just about most agents in New South Wales or Queensland or New Zealand or other places, I say, hey, you could be doing a routine inspection fee. And in fact, I did this with an agency in Tasmania, and the BDM resigned because they believed they couldn't do it, and you can't do it when no one else is charging it. Of course, immediately the new person in the agency stepped up, bang, started doing those fees, and hasn't lost a deal because of that since, and that has been getting their full fees. So for you, tell us about charging for a routine inspection and why you started doing that.
So we've started charging because of the amount of work that actually goes into doing a periodic inspection correctly. So anyone can just, rock up to a property, go through, not really make too much into it, but we've really dialed down and gotten into that periodic inspections need to be detailed and thorough. So we've just added a new service with our inspections that goes through, how many beds are at the property, if there's any pets, any suggested repairs to keep the maintenance of the property to a good condition, any repair or maintenance issues. Those are also logged in our Talpy system, so we can follow up with the owner so they don't get forgotten about or lost in paperwork, so that we can keep following up for both landlord and tenant. For tenants, if they're not there, we leave them a little thank you card and a little pack of gummy bears. We just think if they're not there for us to be able to chat to them, we like just leaving a nice little note, and also put a copy of that photo with the note for the inspection report with the landlord, because a lot of landlords want to make sure that their tenants are being well looked after. They're not just a number. So we want to really beat that down to owners that, yes, we're here looking after your investment, and part of our job is also to make sure the tenant's happy and doing what they need to do. Because then that way, if anything happens during the tenancy and you've got a good relationship with the tenants, it makes any sort of conflict resolution much easier, I think.
Yep, no, that's cool. So just moving on, and I know we could spend a lot of time talking about fees, but what's coming through is you got strong justification and conviction around why you're charging those. And as soon as an owner sees that, it's like, okay, I'm sold. You can stop now. It's not a problem. Bang, it's over the line, everybody. It's all about confidence, and if you believe it, they will believe it too. So now you also increase your monthly admin fee as well. Yes. What did that go up to?
So that went up to $11 a month.
Okay. Now, tribunal, what did that go up to?
$220.
From 55.
Yeah.
Congratulations, because everybody out there, a cleaner is not even charging $55 anymore. The lawnmower man charges a lot more than that. Everyone, and I was actually in an agency just a week ago, Simone, where they're managing $1 billion of other people's assets. Now, I know you'd be managing less than that, but everyone, let's get serious about this. Let's not think that our hourly rates are worth less than a cleaner or anything like that, and silly stuff like that. So let's move on. Now, of all the fee increases that you've done, what do you predict financially now you're earning extra per year, given your turnover rates? What's the extra amount? What's this turn into financially for you per property a year? What do you calculate the extra fee income is added up to?
So it's around an extra $1,500 to $2,000 per property.
Wow, is it that much? That's awesome. That is amazing. That would no doubt, that my guess is, without knowing what your numbers were, that would be more than double.
Yeah.
All right, which is amazing. And now you've got a new look of what property management's all about, right? You've got a fresh look, a more enthusiastic look, because now there's more incentive to do it. It's a difficult job at the best of days, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
And now you go, you can put your head on the pillow after a tough day and go, at least it's worth it. I'm getting paid well for it. So that's awesome, because it's a difficult job, everyone. So moving forward, now the two big things in people's minds are, and everyone, these are your big butts screaming at you at the moment. This is the elephant in the room, all right, with the big butt, okay? And the big butt, there's actually two of them. But my growth rates would collapse. No one would want to sign up with me with that. And also, I can't do that because my rivals aren't charging that. So let's go and knock these on the head now, Simone. What happened when you went out to the market? How did your growth rates go? And what changed? Did you suddenly all your growth dry up because no one wanted to sign with you and went to the cheaper agent down the road? What happened?
No, not at all. So growth rate remains strong. If anything, we're just really, and this is something that I hadn't really thought about before prior to doing your training, that not all business is good business. As much as we're getting interviewed by potential landlords, we need to be interviewing the potential landlord themselves, because just like there are some tenants that shouldn't be tenants, sometimes some owners can be a bit more tricky or troublesome, or you just might not get on personality wise, and that's okay. You know, you don't have to take everything on. So I think it's really about aligning yourself with like-minded landlords who respect and trust in what you say and what your recommendations are in relation to their property, so that it is maximized, so that you've got happy tenants, and so that it runs and is much more smooth process for everyone. No one likes having to have, you know, those difficult, tough conversations. So yeah, that's something we're definitely
well done. So
focused
really,
on.
your growth rates haven't slowed down. You have stopped
No.
taking on some crap business,
Yep.
because you realize all business isn't the game you're going to play. You're only going to focus on profitable business, not all business. So no toxic business makes its way into your rent roll. Well done. So, so growth rates haven't changed for you significantly, except a slight change in your plans. And also the next one is, have your rivals all increased their fees, or have their fees stayed more or less the same?
No, they've stayed more or less the same.
Okay, so why hasn't that made a difference for you? Because everyone thinks my rivals aren't doing it, I can't do it. Why do you think that has not been a problem for you? Why are people signing up at your much higher fees than everywhere else, and it doesn't make a difference? What's your theory on that?
So I think it is all about your confidence and being able to have your points of difference clearly specified for people, so that then they don't just look towards fees. That was one thing that you've taught me through the training, was being able to identify your different points of difference, have it with conviction. And, you know, if someone does bring up questioning the management fee, like you've said, everyone in real estate thinks that fees are negotiable, and it's a bit of a tennis match. So you've just got to be able to, hit the ball back with a confident response as to why you charge a certain fee as compared to why someone may not.
Yeah, well done. So it is. Everyone understand. If you get, but the other agent is cheaper, or you can match your management fee with the other agent down the road, they've now stepped into a game of negotiation. Firstly, they've already made a decision to sign with you. It's a buying signal. We're just one step away. All you got to do is step into the ball confidently in a game of tennis and just have a quick, sharp, good, strong, confident response as to why you can't do it. And the game is yours and the fees are yours too. And again, that's what I cover in my book, the PM Fee Script Secrets. Again, you get the book at stopdiscountingfees.com. Now, one more thing before we go is that at our 2-day Win Your Worth workshop, Talpy was there. All right.
Yes.
And you then embraced it, right? I'm going to take on these effective points of difference and no longer allow my fees to ever become a point of difference, because I'm going to be more expensive than my rivals. How has Talpy worked for you, and how have you used that as a point of difference to win business?
So Talpy has just definitely streamlined the repair and maintenance side of things. It actually, after doing the demo with Taylor, it actually got us excited about repair and maintenance requests, and who would ever think that, because it's usually such a headache and difficult. So with using the Talpy system, and it bolts on perfectly to Property Me, so it syncs, there's no really extra data entry or anything like that, and everything's just in the one place. You can email and message from the job, follow up quotes, request approval from the owner. So it's just really simple and streamlined that side of things. Okay. And since it's made our turnaround times much faster as well.
Okay, so it benefits you and it benefits the team, no doubt about it. But how do you sell that benefit to an owner that impresses them? What's it got to do with them?
So for them, it's keeping them in the loop for their property. And if there's a repair issue, and say it's a burst pipe or tap or something, it's all emailed through, it's electronic, they can approve it straight away, they can call if they have any questions, they can write us a message if they want more information. So that way it's really keeping them in the loop. And because it's all in the one spot, they're not having to chase through different emails, they can just go into that particular job and see if it's scheduled. So it eliminates those extra phone calls, but it keeps the owner up to date of what's happening with the property.
No doubt they get a bit precious about, spending money on repairs and all of that. So well done. Like everyone, I just want to encourage you, go to Talpy, T-A-P-I, TalpyHQ.com and ask Taylor for a demo for yourself. Please have effective points of difference, because when you do, the focus comes off the fee. If you're getting a lot of, but the other agent is cheaper or whatever, or what are your fees, or you haven't got an effective point of difference. So to take the focus off the discounting, which costs you so much more in the long run, I'll do the numbers in another podcast. Get yourself armed, but when you're armed with effective points of difference, it lifts your confidence as well, and you feel 10 foot tall, and it's the confidence that wins it over the line. Okay, it's when you're confident and can look at your eyes in the owner and say, I'm worth it, because they will believe it too. All righty, that's how this whole thing works. The whole When You're Worth Teaching, this whole podcast is all about confidence for you to be the right agent for that prospect. And when they want you, they don't care about your fees. This is what it's all based on. So thank you so much, Simone. I just want to say I'm really blown away. You've embraced this, and you're a finalist, of course, coming up as well. Finalist with the Property Manager of the Year Award. Is that right?
Yeah.
At the IGT event. So good luck on that. And you just took out the REI NSW Property Manager of the Year. Is that correct?
Yes, I did. Thank
you.
I
got that right. So, well done. That's fantastic. But you are a true professional, and you are one that other people are watching. Okay, you've become an industry leader. Believe it or not, you certainly have my eyes as well. You've got my attention. You've got the whole IGT attention, simply because you took the teaching and you implemented it, and you didn't let any big buts get in the way. So just want to say a big thank you. And we look forward to seeing everyone in the next podcast episode. Take care.
Okay, thank you very much.